Morning everyone, how are you doing? This is Amanda. It's the 4th of September 2020 and we're going to have a look at what's going on with Mother Earth today and what's going on with the Schumann resonance in particular. I'll tell you what the Schumann resonance is in a moment if you don't already know. Does anybody remember those of us that have been on the path a while? Do you remember, I think it was Karen Bishop, What's Up on Planet Earth? Her broadcasts from probably maybe a decade ago now. Sort of what I want to call this video, maybe What's Up on Mother Earth. Whether I do or not, I don't know. But yeah, she used to give these updates in terms of what was happening with the energetics on a day-to-day, week-by-week basis. And I would like to do a similar one today in that vein. So I always start my videos by saying, how are you doing? And I'm going to repeat, how are you doing? Because, oh my goodness, this week, I now have acknowledged and stepped into the fact that I've always known I'm an empath and able to pick up people's energy very easily. I now realise I am an earth empath as well, and I am completely in sync, as many of you will be as well, with what's happening linked into the solar flares. Anything geophysical on this planet, it affects me, and I don't know whether it's going to be in this video, but we certainly need to do some work in terms of how we can help ourselves ride these waves, because the last 48 hours, I literally haven't been able to function. I mean, I've been breathing and living, of course. Yesterday, I think I was out all day in the morning, but I sat down in the afternoon to do some work. I owe a couple of people's sessions. I've got 8 sessions to do for next week linked into my level 1 program. I literally couldn't even get a word out. I was trying to speak and it was all coming out jumbled. My head felt like cotton wool, dull headache, off balance, ungrounded, but sort of not ungrounded, which is a weird thing to say because I knew I was grounded, but it was almost as though the ground was shifting underneath my feet all of the time. I'm not ill physically. I'm not ill mentally. This is energetic. And if you've been experiencing any of those symptoms or any other symptoms, you may well be tuning into what's going on with particularly the Schumann resonance the last few days. When I say it's off the charts, it's actually okay. I keep hearing the song Wipeout in my head. I don't know who did that one, but I'm hearing Wipeout because what's actually been going on. Oh, before I go any further, medical disclaimer. I have to say this legally. Anybody obviously that's got all sorts of palpitations and feeling unwell, go to your doctor as well, okay? That's a first port of call. I didn't need to do that because I knew I was okay. It was energetic, but anybody watching, there's thousands of people that watch me. You may very well have something that's going on medically. So of course, get that checked out. Let's get back to the Schumann resonance. This is what it's doing as of today. I'll put the website that I'm looking at this on my in my description box below. What's that that's just flashed up? Okay, that's just a piece of news that we don't need to see. Okay, this is a live reading of what's going on with the Schumann resonance. Those of you that follow it know that we have peaks and troughs the whole time, and it shows it reflects back to us what's going on with the electromagnetic field around Mother Earth. Some people also call it the heartbeat of Mother Earth. It's affected by things such as solar flares, electrical storms, obviously, anything geophysical. Now, what I'm watching is taken from a website called AASB Media. And I don't know whether he streams constantly or not, but he says the graph is updated every 15 minutes. Okay, so this is pretty accurate. And what it's been showing over the last few days is this periods of what I'm hearing, wipeout, reset, seemingly no activity, which is actually impossible. Or if not impossible, I'm being shown the analogy of Earth holding its breath and then giving out a mighty exhale again, because of course Gaia, Mother Earth, is alive just as much as you and I are, and she will always be, her heart will always be beating. There will always be energy around her, within her, and of her. She also, we and her are intertwined. So what's going on with us affects her, and what's going on with her affects us. Okay, it's a two-way dance, as it were. So it caught my attention. I had a few emails coming in about it in terms of what's going on. Some people saying that, because I don't watch it every day, I don't need to, because I know in my body when something's going on with it. It's almost like I feel it in my body, and then I go and check the Schumann resonance, and it's like 99.9% of the time it's like, oh, okay, we've just had another spike, we've just had another huge surge of energy. But people are saying particularly the 29th of August, around then, the last few days, end of August, beginning of September, it's been behaving erratically. People that can read the charts are saying that it's an unusual pattern that we are having. It's not the first time that the Schumann resonance has shown a blank or supposedly gone offline. It hasn't gone offline. What's actually happening is just the fact that it's struggling to read the energy, because the energy is so high and so erratic. So I thought what I would do is I would pull some cards on it, and I'll see what guidance comes through. I've already pulled some cards yesterday, which I've still got out. I'm going to start with those, and then I've also just pulled some new cards, and then we'll also we'll pull some live as well. Okay. So the first thing to say is in terms of how we can help ourselves at the moment through what we're feeling. If we are sensitive, the biggest thing that can help is sleep and rest. Okay, by far, sleep and rest. I tried to push through it a little bit yesterday, and that was a mistake. I got to 5 o'clock and then I just had to go and lie down upstairs. Whereas actually, if I'd done so a couple of hours before, maybe I'd have had a bit more productive time. But the thing is, even saying that, you know, when Mother Earth is resetting, which is basically what's going on, we also need to allow ourselves the time to reset as well. So you really can't fight this at the moment, and we just have to go with it. Let me show you what I got yesterday. Okay, so all of the decks that I'm using are in the description box. Can I also just say, I always put the decks that I use in the description box, which is the blurb underneath my video where I tell you what's in the video. I also tell you what sprays I use, etc. Because people always say, what cards do you use? It's always there. Okay, so just look there. This deck that I'm starting with is the Sacred Earth Oracle by Tony Carmine Salerno. And these were the 3 cards that I pulled yesterday for what's going on with Mother Earth, what's going on with this Schumann resonance. The first card we've got is the card of Alchemy. Okay, now what I'm hearing, I'm just pulling in Archangel Metatron here. There's also another guide hovering that I'll ask who it is in a moment, but let me just bring this message through. What I'm hearing is, this feels like Melchizedek, is that alchemy by nature can be experimental, he's saying. A good alchemist will be open to experimentation, to going into areas that haven't been gone into before, putting particular blends of energies together that haven't been there before, to try to create something that has never been created before. So what Mother Earth is trying to do, what the universe is trying to do, is take us to a higher place than we've ever been before, whilst also not affecting too much the people and animals and all living things that are upon this planet. I do feel this is Melchizedek. He is also saying, he is, you know, it's just the way that I'm describing it, but of course Melchizedek is an energy that is not male or female really. Melchizedek is also saying that the universe has been very patient with Mother Earth, not so much her, it's more the people upon her, us as inhabitants, and been waiting for us to grow and to evolve to the place that we need to grow and evolve to. But the progress has been slower than thought. And so the universe has been in a holding pattern, waiting for us to catch up and put our hands up, wishing to evolve to this higher state of consciousness, what you would call New Earth. And so this process we've got going on at the moment, there is some alchemy. Let me show you the other two cards. We've got friction that goes with alchemy, and we've also got potential. So what's happening now is that the universe, let's just call it universe, God, source energy, is trying to raise our planet to a higher vibration, for us to reach our highest potential and the Earth to reach its highest potential, so it is in sync with other planetary star systems. We have a denser, lower vibration than pretty much any other place in the universe. So they're in that holding pattern. They've been in that holding pattern, waiting for us to want to rise, and enough people are now doing so. But the experiment is linked into trying to take as many people with it as possible, in terms of not affecting too great a challenge and too great a friction for those that are refusing to budge. Because God and the universe by nature is love. And what love does is love doesn't want to hurt. Love just wants to cajole nicely and say, come on, you can do this. Okay. So there is some friction at the moment with this process of alchemy that is trying to take us as a species and as an earth to a higher plane of existence. Now, when I pulled a card from my own Metatron deck yesterday, let me just find it, linking into this, I just wanted to understand this friction and what this friction was about a little bit deeper. The card that I got was the card of karma. Okay, I'm just trying to find it. I got the card of karma, untying the knots. So it feels as though what's holding back the earth at the moment is the closing out of karmic cycles that some people are resisting, or some people are refusing to acknowledge. The karmic cycles that are wanting to close out are also collective, not just individual. So Earth, as an energy in her own right, is wanting to release some karmic imprints that have been upon her for eons, I'm hearing, okay? And some of this is known and some of this is not known. So the karmic completions and cycles closing out are causing massive ripples and waves in their own right. So it's as though we've got this push-pull energy the whole time, which you can also see in the Schumann resonance, this push-pull energy, these peaks and these troughs. But what we've actually got now is actually just what looks like a lull. It looks as though we're holding our breath, waiting for what is to come in. Okay, let me show you the three cards that I pulled this morning. All of this comes in on the back of the Pisces full moon, okay, on the 1st and 2nd of September. And I think I mentioned in a video linked to that there was this Atlantean, Lemurian, ancient civilization, certainly energy that was wanting to come. When I say come back, it's not as though we just recreate Atlantis or recreate Lemuria. It's more that those of us who lived through those civilizations, there is a remembrance of those times and the wisdom that we had then that is coming back to the fore, being brought back into our conscious mind, to help with this next stage of Earth's ascension process. It's as though we need some of that ancient wisdom and knowledge that is dormant within ourselves and within our DNA, that we have forgotten, but we need it now. So I was already feeling that. And then I pulled this card from Keepers of the Earth Oracle by Mandy Peterson. And this says Remnants of Atlantis. I would also add Lemuria to this. I don't think there was a Lemuria card in the deck, but I'm feeling both civilizations. To double that up, we've also got Dolphin Song, and we've also got Black Swan, which is an unforeseen event. Now, that isn't negative. Black Swan, an unforeseen event, a surprise, something that in hindsight makes sense, I think is this reset moment that we're in at the moment. I really felt how huge that Pisces full moon was, and I said that a week ago. Bigger than a lot of the other moon phases have been this year, I felt. And what we've got here is a continuation of the energy of that. You see, look at that. Even this Remnants of Atlantis card, we've got the karma. We've got karma mentioned on this card as well. Got karma mentioned twice. Okay, let's see. I want to see who this other guide is that's here. There's another guide. I'm just going to pull this from this deck. I wanted to use this deck, so I just want to use it. Okay, Keepers of the Light, Carl Gray. Just want to see what this other energy is. I can hazard a guess, but I just want to see what we get. You can see me draw it live as well, as it were. So, who is it that's coming forward and stepping in around us to help with these imbalances in the earth, these fluctuations, these frequency upgrades? Don't want those two, I just want one, please. Okay. Mercury, open communication. Mercury, interesting, it's that turquoise vibe again. Mercury, Mercury's linked to the sea, isn't he? I think. Let me just double check. Pretty sure it is. Mercury was the Roman god of messages and communication. In Greek mythology, he's known as Hermes. He's often depicted with wings on his feet, representing his capacity to be swift and carrying a caduceus, the same healing wand that Archangel Raphael is known to carry. As well as overseeing communication, he oversees the planet Mercury. Okay, well, he's just trying to help with communication. Maybe he's just trying to help me communicate this because he knows it's difficult. I'll come back to that in a moment. Let's just spray the water energy and see what we get coming through. Sonar waves I'm hearing. Tell you what, those dolphins and whales at the moment, they're going to be communicating something to us. They're also bringing back some ancient wisdom and knowledge. I was chatting to one of my Metatron teachers actually last week, who's a great animal communicator, and we were talking about how powerful it is, I think she was mentioning, to listen to whale music at the moment. You know, the sound of whales, the sound that they make, because it's as though there are codes within that. Can you hear those birds out there cheeping as I'm talking? Can you hear that? Now, if you can hear that, okay, there's birds cheeping outside my window as I'm talking about listening to the whales. On a rational level, mental level, my brain is unable to completely understand what they're saying. But if I go into my heart, I get it. They've gone silent now, okay. So it's to do with listening to the animals. It's listening to the animals. That's what's coming in with Mercury. He's saying we've got to listen. We've got to listen to the animals. There are codes that we need from the animals at the moment linked into this. It's as though, as a species, as I look at my dragon, okay, yeah, we've got to listen to the animals. There's so much change going on at the moment in our world. There's so much dysfunction. There's so much fighting. There's so much hatred. There's so much imbalance. There's so many people fighting, you know, in the spiritual community with each other as anywhere else in life. There's fighting between political parties. It's just got to a level of insanity. It's almost as though we've forgotten that we're not the most important things on this planet, that actually there are other beings and other energies that have a right to have a say. And Mother Earth absolutely has a right to have her say as well. And it's almost as though she wants to stop us in our tracks. That's what I'm feeling. It's like she wants to stop us in our tracks. Sorry, there's like a little fly there come in now as I'm talking. Did you see the way that just stopped me in my tracks and caught my attention? There's just tiny little flies just flown in. It's as though humanity is being given a lesson here to just stop and smell the roses, you know? Stop and smell the roses. Stop and listen to the birds. Stop and notice the animals. Stop and listen to the whales, you know? We think we are so important, and so our voice is the only thing that matters, that we're all that matters on this earth. And this is Mercury that's coming through here, you know, quite strident message here. We need to be acknowledging all living beings in this new earth that we're trying to create, and stop the fighting amongst ourselves as human beings. Stop it. I'm just hearing stop it. Mother Earth has had enough as well. You know, this karma that's causing the friction because we're not closing it out. Some of this is also some of the people that we're fighting against, whether we're fighting about, you know, political parties, whether we're fighting about anything else, there's usually unfinished karma between us and these people, or there's unfinished karma between us and certain groups. Both sides need to let it go is what I'm hearing. I'm being shown a tug of war. You know the tug of war when you're tugging on the rope and it's almost like to the death. We're being asked to let it go. Drop the rope is what I'm hearing. Oh my goodness, yeah, see, look at that. Look at this now. Let me just put this back up. When I said drop the rope, that almost looks like, this is the Schumann resonance today, that almost looks like two bridges. It's like the bridge analogy again. There is no rope. There is no rope. We are moving from here to here. Okay, let's press on. Let's go for some other messages. I've got a few different decks that I want to use here. So which deck shall I carry on with? Metatron. Let's carry on with this one. Okay. Yeah, I also pulled two other cards from the Mandy Peterson deck. So as well as having this sort of, you know, the wisdom. Oh, okay. The wisdom that wants to come back from Atlantis and Lemuria. I'm also hearing that the wisdom isn't just, you know, I don't know, about esoteric information and magic or anything like that. It's to do with what did we learn from those times. This is really interesting. What did we learn from those times? What we should be remembering, those of us that were there, is look where it led you. Look where all the squabbling and the ego led you. It basically led to the downfall of your civilization. What once had great potential, okay, greater healing abilities than we have now in 2020, you know, greater understanding of the wider universe, extraordinary levels of brilliance, became corrupted. And it became corrupted because man just kept fighting man. Ego, aggression, hatred, the opposite of unity consciousness. When we're remembering back to Lemurian Atlantean times, we should actually be remembering the lessons of that, which is that it didn't end particularly well, okay? I mean, I particularly can remember an Atlantean lifetime, and I know it didn't end particularly well. I've seen myself drowning before in that lifetime. A lot of us that are spiritual teachers in this life, or healers as well, we also could have been somebody who was corrupted in that past life. okay, who had the power but became blinded by it, who became egotistical with it, who became corrupted with it, who turned more towards the dark than the light. We need to remember that now. We're at a pivotal cusp moment, which is full of potential again, and we're needing to truly break through it. So actually, I'm wanting to almost say it's not just about remembering and bringing back the wisdom, it's about remembering the mistakes of the past and not doing it again. That's what I'm feeling with all this watery energy that's coming up. It's almost as though, look at that, it's like a gift that's being offered to us. I mean, look at the top that I've chosen to wear. I've never worn, this is a new top, and I'm not even sure I particularly like it actually, but that's not the point. I put it on today and I didn't even realise why I was doing it. Look at the colours. It's like I'm wearing the Atlantean energy. We're being offered here a chance to bring it back, but we have to remember that where it led us last time, and not to corrupt it like we did last time. This is where there is this complete and utter lack of connection within the spiritual community, which is, on one hand, we can be talking about, oh yeah, you know, Atlantis and Lemurian, how lovely all that is. And then in the next breath, we can be fighting each other. If you mention, God forbid, something like Donald Trump or Joe Biden, you know, two trigger subjects, or God forbid, Greta Thunberg. Do you know the amount of people that have tried to silence me so I can't talk about the environment, for example, on my own channel? I only realised it yesterday. I came out of the fog yesterday. It was actually it was a weird thing that brought me out of the fog, actually. I know I'm always going on about Mark Armand because he's one of my heroes, but hear me out here, because it was a weird thing. I'm now on Instagram and I don't follow hardly any people, not because I'm being rude, just because I'm so overwhelmed with work. I can't follow loads of people on Instagram, as well as YouTube, as well as Facebook. It just doesn't work for me. So I go onto Instagram, I post my posts, and I come out again. Thank you very much all that follow me. I love you all. But the point was, I do follow Mark Armand because I love him. Yesterday, he put a thing on Instagram where he was talking about the Extinction Rebellion demonstrations in London, and there'd been a bit of argy-bargy, I think, a bit of police presence or whatever. And basically, Mark was just standing up for the environmentalists, you know. And I thought, yeah, you know, I love you even more. I knew I loved you, but I love you even more. Why haven't I been talking about that recently? And I thought, I know I haven't been talking about it recently because people have tried to silence me. It's like, you can't talk about that person. You can't talk about this. You're wrong. You know, when are we going to be able to just have ears that listen to different perspectives without fighting each other? This is what we did before in previous lives. There's no point having, you know, it just doesn't make sense that we're evolving and we're ascending and we're supposedly becoming wise, but then we shoot each other down in flames the whole time when we say something that we might not agree with. You know, the other person, we might not agree with them. We need to be able to at least hear other people out and be respectful. It's all linked. It's all linked. So yes, this thing about, oh, I want to hear about Lemuria, I want to hear about Atlantis. Well, that's great. Let's talk about that. Let's bring back some of that ancient knowledge. But let's also walk the talk. Let's walk the talk. Let's not do what happened before in those lifetimes, where we had all the wisdom and the knowledge, but it didn't lead anywhere because a lot of people just fell into ego and darkness and turned away from that great light that they had. There was a golden age, absolutely, but then it just withered and died. So we don't want that for New Earth that we're trying to create now. We want to create something that is actually sustainable. And we will be helped. I really feel we'll be helped because we've got this card here of celestial encounters. This is the gate opening. This to me talks about souls coming in to help us, souls that are already here. It also is an exodus of certain souls that just don't want to do it, you know, don't want to ascend, don't want to awaken, want to stay as they are. There's no judgment to that. There is no judgment to that. There is a place for those people. And it's not hell. It's just a different vibrational energy than maybe you and I want to be in, and where ultimately we want to take the world because we're trying to take the world to a higher place. So if you want it to stay the same, this is the whole thing with these two cards. The people that want to keep it the same, I want to stay in my fighting, I want to stay in my judgment, I want to stay in separation, you're wrong, I'm right. That's fine, but it's like that's not New Earth energy. So this is where Mother Earth is struggling a bit, because she's wanting to take us higher, but there's a whole tranche of people who are just not wanting to move. They're not wanting to budge. So there is exit points for some, but there's also entrance points also. It's two-way. But there's also help coming. There's help coming for all of us as well. Okay, let's put those cards to one side. Let's have some water and let's pull some cards from the Gaian Tarot deck. And let's go back to asking about Schumann resonance. What's going on, please? Another message, which might confirm what I've already said, or it might be a different message that wants to come through. So let's have another look. Okay, this is still live. We've still got the what I'm just calling the flat line, the wipeout energy. Some people are saying, oh, it's the, you know, the poles reversing. Let's put it this way. I'm going to be blunt. If the poles reversed, you and I would know about it, okay? It wouldn't be a case of going on to trying to think, is it happening, isn't it? You'd know about it, okay? So I'm not picking that up yet. Let's just see what else we get. Schumann resonance. Archangel Metatron. What's going on, please? A message. Schumann resonance. Yeah, I keep getting this card. Don't particularly like it. Don't particularly like it. Look at that. Is it the Seven of... No, it's the Guardian of Fire. Now, I read cards intuitively, okay? So this card may very well have a different meaning when you read it from the deck. But I don't particularly like that figure that's trying to... For me, he's trying to blow the fire out. He's trying to blow the fire out. Having said that, there is a wolf or something in the distance that's watching who's not going to allow it. Don't know, just the energy of that card is a little bit... There's an energy of, again, I'm going to use a musical reference, which might mean nothing to certain people, but Prodigy, Firestarter. Do you know the song? It's actually a video and a song that I find really hard to listen to or watch because it's got a very, it's got an energy of anarchy linked into it and violence. It's actually a great song. It's actually a really good song. It's a great piece of art, personally, I think. It's just, I find it too confrontational in your face. It's a little bit too out there for me. But that's what I'm hearing in my head. Firestarter. Okay. I just don't like the energy of that card. Okay, Schumann resonance, Metatron, help me out here. What are you trying to say? What goes with that card? Schumann resonance, which is what we're asking about. It's behaving erratically. What goes with that card, please? What goes with that card? The Eight of Water. Fire and water energy again. I've been talking about fire and water energy for over a year now. Those people that came to my workshop, sorry, I sound like a cow. 2 years ago, was it? Wasn't a year ago, 2 years ago in New York, we did the masterclass, the 11/11 masterclass. Some of you are still watching me from that. Do you remember we walked through a portal on 11/11 2 years ago? And I said we were walking through a gateway and one pillar was made up of fire and one pillar was made up of water. And it's like, that energy hasn't gone away. And the thing is, it's impossible to do that. How could you have an archway which was made of fire and water? Wouldn't they cancel each other out? How would that work? Well, we're sort of back to alchemy. Somehow it worked. Let me just pull some more cards, guys. What is going on, Metatron? Schumann resonance. Two more cards, please. Schumann resonance. Yeah, I knew that card was going to come up. And I knew that card was going to come up. Actually, I pulled those two cards yesterday. Because as I say, I tried to make this video yesterday. Those two cards came up yesterday. To me, this is a representation of, again, what's going on with Mother Earth. She's struggling. She's struggling. The forests are on fire. You know, we've got forest fires again in California. We had them in we had them in Australia at the start of the year. Really, really bad fires. This is a map. She's looking at a map, trying to work out the best route through all of this. There's something in this card, Eight of Water. Can you see the way her face? You can see her reflection in the water. And here, it's almost like, I said I didn't particularly like this guy's energy, but he's obviously looking into the fire. He's trying to see it's almost like he's trying to see himself in the fire. Do you remember when you used to do that as a kid? Maybe you still do. You look into the fire and you can, what can I see? Well, here we can see a reflection. Here we can see a reflection of something. We're being asked to look. The Elder of Air is asking us to look at ourselves. You know, it's man in the mirror type of stuff. Change starts with the man in the mirror. We've got to look at what we're doing. We've got to look at how we're behaving. Water is emotions. We've got to look at ourselves. We've got to be brave enough to look in the mirror and look at ourselves and change what needs to be changed. Fire, what are we creating? Fire starter. Are we creating more chaos in the world? Are we creating more hatred in the world? Are we creating more toxic energy in the world? You know, this can be in the small stuff as well. You know, I know I often go on about social media, and I know I'm on social media, but I'm just so sensitive to what's on social media because it affects my mental health. And so I've put huge boundaries up around it because I look after myself. You should be looking after yourself. If you're not looking after yourself, you can't look after anybody else. If I don't look after myself, I can't come on here and do this work. Because there's a lot of toxic, negative energy out there at the moment on social media and in the wider world. So you need to be protecting yourself from it. You need to be helping yourself. Whatever that means, it's going to be different for different people. So are you contributing to that? Are you putting hateful stuff up? Are you putting horrible comments? I don't think you are. I'm not talking to you, really. All of my regular, lovely followers, yeah, I know you don't do that. We've got a beautiful community here. But you know, when I do a video on a subject that is a bit controversial and we get people into the channel that don't normally watch me, you've seen, well, you don't always see all of it because I block a lot of it. But believe you me, it brings in just this energy which is just absolutely and utterly toxic and horrible and dark. People trying to pull you down. One of you put a lovely comment on a video, I think it was the Diana video yesterday, and you said something along the lines of, thank you, Amanda, for trying to maintain some boundaries on your channel and to keep it positive and high vibe so that we can have an intelligent discussion. And you said something, and you didn't say it in a horrible way, I'm sort of paraphrasing it, but it was something along the lines of, people that want to have a low vibe discussion can go up to other places. And I really loved that because the way you said it, you weren't judging them. I'm not judging them. It's just, I don't want to be playing with that anymore. I'm not wanting to play. What I'm being shown is a muddied pool of water, a dirty pool. I want to swim in the clean pool. And, you know, if you want to swim in the clean pool with me, brilliant. We're not going to be perfect in that clean pool. But, you know, we know when we've picked up stuff and we then go away and, you know, purify ourselves and do our best. This to me is man in the mirror stuff. You know, what are you creating? Are you creating peace and harmony, or are you creating more aggro? What has this got to do with the Schumann resonance? Everything. Because what I was saying at the beginning, Mother Earth and us are just interlinked. We are one and the same. We are of the earth and she is of us. We go back to earth. We are of earth. Our bodies are earth. Okay? So her heartbeat, her frequency, this is also us. Okay? So when we are feeling high and light and loving and joyful, it's going to reflect in this. When we're feeling, you know, downtrodden and negative and full of darkness, it's going to affect this. Now, the good thing is, at the moment, this Schumann resonance, even though it's like gone slightly, is flatlining a bit at the moment. Remember, we're being told it's just holding its breath. There's about to be a big release, but ultimately, the frequencies that it's measuring are really high and sort of off the charts. Okay, so that's a good sign. It shows that a lot of us want to be swimming in the clean pool. Okay, we want to be swimming in the clean pool. And I love the energy of this guy, the Elder of Air. Look how great he looks. You know, it's about bringing back the respect for the elders in our communities. Yeah. I just love the energy of that card. The butterfly as well, symbol of transformation. We need to start listening to the earth, we need to start listening to the animals, we need to start listening to the elders. When I'm saying the elders, green Tara we've got coming up here. There's definitely a you are protected, cords are being cut, move beyond limitation, trust, supreme protection. Green Tara, cords are being cut. This ties into karma. There are cords being cut at the moment. Hold on a minute, guys. Let me just go into this. There's a message hovering. I can't quite get it. Green Tara. Okay. These cords that are being cut, tied into karma, are often linked into relationships. Now, if you're released from a karmic contract, that all sounds great and dandy, and it is. But say you've been in a relationship which is very codependent, and you have completed your karma. Maybe you've paid back what you needed to pay back, for example, and the cords are cut, and suddenly you're both free. You might find that difficult, actually, because you're used to the other person being there the whole time, leaning on each other. You might also have a situation where you've made peace and you need to walk away. This can be anything, guys, as well. This isn't just love. This is everything. This is family. This is friendships, work, everything. What I'm trying to say is that I'm very aware that there's two groups on our planet at the moment. There's one group, and that's most of us probably watching, who are trying to flow as best they can. When cords get cut, for example, or cycles end out, we are trying to acknowledge that, respect that, feel into that, process that, integrate that, move on as best we can, whilst acknowledging any other party that we've had the karmic contract with. Okay, but again, we've got the wisdom, we've got the insight to be able to do that. What about the other party that might not be awake? There's a lot of, I'm just seeing this other huge portion of humanity which are just running around, I use the expression like headless chickens because that's what it is, who the cords are cut and they don't know what to do. Now, the point is that it's a loving universe. God is as there for them as he is for you, but they're so out of sync with maybe aligning to that, they've forgotten that there is this connection. There is this connection. I'm literally being shown a phone, like an old-fashioned phone with a cord, and it's like dangling it's dangling. It's like one of those old-fashioned phone boxes which had a cable. Some of you are too young to remember this. And it's just been left dangling because it's almost like it's God calling on the other end of the line. It's like, hello, hello, is there anybody there? And they're just running around like headless chickens, not even knowing that there's a line there. There's a direct line to source. There's a direct line to themselves, but they don't want to look at it because they're stuck. But not just stuck, they don't want to change. Don't judge it. They're where they are choosing to be. That's a hard one to accept, that somebody's choosing to remain there, but that is their choice. You don't have to stay there with them though, okay? So there is a huge amount of protection around this whole situation, and it's playing out in so many different ways. I just want to spray the emerald spray again, emerald, which is for renewal and regeneration. I actually went to bed last night and I put this all over myself. And interestingly, I also put it on, those of you that use the emerald spray, which is for renewal and regeneration. It's one of my favourite sprays. It's got vetiver in it. I love it. I love the smell of it. It's a very grounding spray. Last night, I wanted to put it at the back of my neck. I put it on my ultra major. And I also, where else did I put it? I put it there. I just sprayed it all around my head. Oh, of course, it makes sense now. I realised what I was doing. I was grounding the energy because it's coming in. It's coming up from the earth, but it's also coming in from up above. I was grounding the energy. It was like it was stuck. I'm realising now what was happening. This is what explains the heads thing. You know, where we've been walking around with these heads full of cotton wool and it's like, my God, I can't think, what day is it? You know, I did a video 2 days ago and I said, hello, it's the 2nd of, what did I say? 2nd of August. It was the 2nd of September. Everyone's like, oh, hold on, was this a year ago you did this video? No, I just had a moment. You know, it's happening all the time. So what do we do? It's like, there's this energy. It's like, come on, it's got to move from there. It's just come in here. It's got to move from there to our feet to the earth. But there's so much going on with the earth energy. It's almost like, I think there's almost a fear for some of us as empaths, but we can't give her any more. You can. She can do this. It's interesting. She's saying she's the grandmother. That's really interesting because we always talk about Mother Earth. She's wanting to say she's grandmother Earth. And I think that's to do with the fact she's expressing that she has evolved. That's really beautiful. That she's getting older as well. As we get older, she's also getting older. She's not about to pop her clogs, you know, she's not about to implode, but she's saying, I'm grandmother Earth. Oh, how beautiful is that? Okay. Oh, wow. Look at this card on the bottom of the deck. As I said, grandmother Earth. Elder of Fire. That's her. That's Gaia. That is Gaia. Well, I'll tell you what, if these two are in charge, I sort of wanted to say, if these two are in charge, I think we can all sleep well in our beds tonight, okay? Because this to me is just like, we've got this. We've got this, okay? The elders, the guardians, grandmother Earth. I also want to say something about spirit guides, because there's an energy of Wayne Dyer here. As mad as that sounds, those that follow my Facebook page know why I'm mentioning Wayne Dyer. Last night, what's today? Today's the 4th. The 3rd, when I was still feeling like, literally I was sitting at my desk. Have I said this already? All day yesterday. Couldn't work, couldn't function. Like, oh, what the hell am I doing? And I sent out another call for help, you know, to my soul group. I said, for God's sake, just please, somebody come in and help me with this. What is going on? What is going on? And then a few hours later, I got a sign coming up that a new guide was coming through. I'll just tell you, those that don't follow my Facebook page, just very, very quickly. I think I took a photograph of it. If you watch my Heart Squad work, you'll know that, I don't know, a year or so ago, I kept getting a sign. Every time a new one wanted to come through, Spirit would put this sign up on my computer, my YouTube channel. And it says playback paused because your account is being used in another location. Now, that might be something that comes up on people's accounts. I appreciate that. But we have our computers on all the time in this house. There's 4 of us here. My daughter's always streaming. I've usually got my phone on. I've usually got my laptop on. You know, it's no wonder I'm wearing my shungite today, surrounded by it. But the point is that message comes up when I know a new guide is coming out in, because it's saying playback is paused because your account is being used in another location, i.e. the other side of the veil. As I sat and pondered, wonder who that is, one of you liked a comment that I had put a month ago talking about would I ever channel Wayne Dyer? And then literally it was just like, oh, okay, Wayne's here. I mean, he's got a vibe. There's a vibe here. But why I'm saying that is because I feel as though there are these big guns, you know, these big guns, these big spiritual guns not just the Ascended Masters, but people like Wayne, people like Dolores Cannon, etc. You know, the people that we've known and loved, who've been great teachers on this earth, who passed, and a lot of them passed. I know Louise Hay died the same day as him as well, but I'm not picking her up yet, but I know she's very near. I think they passed for a reason, which is that they feel as though they can help more where they are now, okay? So I am going to channel Wayne. I'm not going to do it now, but I do know that that card also stands for him. It's almost like, you know, does he look troubled there? I don't think he does. You know, he's just trying to soothe us and trying to help us with the map in terms of where the hell are we going. So some guidance will come in, but between, yeah, the ancestors, you see that I've just said that, I didn't even realize I was going to say that, the ancestors, the Ascended Masters, the amazing guides we have in spirit, such as Wayne, such as the Heart Squad that I channel, and Mother Earth, we will be fine, okay? But just acknowledge that right now, Mother Earth is rocking and rolling. I'm hearing that song again that I've sung before to you. Rocking, rolling, riding right along the bay, all bound for Morningtown, many miles away. Rocking, rolling, riding, ooh-doo-doo-doo-doo, all born for Morningtown, many miles away. I've sung that to you before. That's like a lullaby from Mother Earth, I'm realising now. That's why I'm doing it. It's like I'm channeling Mother Earth when I'm doing that. It's like a lullaby for all of us. We're all going to be fine. We're rocking, rolling, riding. We are in a process of, look at that. That might be the final card I pull. We're in this process of alchemy. We've gone full circle. We talked about alchemy. Look at this card, the Seven of Fire. We are forging something new. Okay, that is literally, somebody is forging hot metal. They're changing metal. They're bending metal into a new shape. What is the metal? It's us. We are the metal, you know? We are the ones that are being formed into a new shape. Mother Earth is being formed into a new shape. And yeah, it's literally like we're in the forge and the heat is on. The heat is on. Got to keep your sense of humour, guys. You've got to keep your sense of humour. Who did that? The heat is on. That was a great song as well. Yeah, this is where we're at. It's 11:01 as I'm saying all this. Okay, I just want to see who sang that. The heat is on. That was a good song as well. Music is the thing that, for me, just gets me through the bad days. Glenn Frey. Ooh, interesting lyrics. The heat is on. Let me put the card up. The heat is on the street, inside your head, on every beat. And the beat's so loud, deep inside, the pressure's high just to stay alive, 'cause the heat is on. The shadow's high on the darker side. Behind the doors, it's a wilder ride. You can make a break, you can win or lose. That's a chance you take when the heat's on you. It's all good ultimately, guys. But yeah, you know, let's just end with what can we do to help ourselves through these times of intense transformation, which is basically where we're at. I've already said rest. Water is hugely important. I must just say something about water. I've said before in previous videos that, for example, when it's like a full moon or a new moon. Hi, sorry, my battery died. I was talking about water. It was just an observation, really, that it wasn't the Pisces full moon, but it was probably the previous new moon to that. I noticed that when I put my water out in the moonlight, which I often do to charge up, it tasted really off. To the point that when I drank it, I had to pour it away. So I think, you know, we started this video talking about the Schumann resonance being up and down and, you know, fluctuating, flatlining, etc. I think just use your judgment when you're putting your water out at the moment, because it's reflecting everything that's going on. and you'll be able to know straight away whether it's okay to drink or it's not okay to drink. And it may very well be also that if you're doing, you've said a prayer, or, you've asked for help to release something, and then you're putting water outside to then drink, of course, the water is actually collecting that which you're letting go of. So it's almost as though you're then ingesting it again. So that's just a message for anybody that resonates with charging their water in moonlight. I just think these are exceptional times, and there isn't a standard rule anymore. So just use your judgment on that. It doesn't mean that I'm never going to be putting my water out to soak up the moonlight again or the sunlight. It just means that now I just do a double check before I drink it. And to be honest, you don't need to worry, because it's really obvious when it's off and when it's okay. And when it's off, you can just taste it's off. Okay, so it's just another way that we're being trained to use our discernment, I feel. But yeah, so water, very important. My battery died, just emphasising the fact how that sleep and rest are crucial. To be honest, I would put sleep and rest up there as the number one thing that you can do for yourself at the moment. Now, for people that are finding it hard to sleep, that's a whole other subject in itself for another video. But it's still the guidance still stands, which is just, it's about you going offline. So even if you're lying in bed and you're not in a deep sleep, you can still be resting. Okay, so let's use the word resting rather than sleeping for some people as well. Apologies if you can hear the noise. That's my cleaner who's outside my door. So sleep, rest, water. In terms of crystals, okay, I'm wearing shungite today, which I find helpful. I'm also wearing black onyx. This is my black onyx ring. I've had this out overnight, and it felt good to put that back on today. I'm using my Andara crystals, and I'm also recommending, clear quartz as well. I also have got this beautiful piece, which has just been helping me with this video, which is cathedral quartz. Isn't that a stunning piece? Just maybe need to show that just for you to feel the energy of that. Isn't that absolutely gorgeous? Multi-layered. What message does that have for you today? Cathedral quartz, what's that saying? How's that making you feel? To me, it feels very high vibration, but also very grounding. Just glorious. Okay. Meditation, normally I would say meditation, but I actually found when I was in that real fog for the last couple of days, I was finding it really hard to meditate. And it's a bit like when you're trying to sleep and you can't sleep. It can actually increase your frustration levels and stress levels. I was finding it difficult to do yesterday. So don't push against the flow. So if you're not finding it easy, or you're not, it's just not coming together easily, then just leave it for another day. I think, again, I'm just going back to sleep as being the most important thing at the moment. Sleep and rest and breath, breathing, remembering to breathe. In terms of colours, the colours that I've been linking into in this particular video is the emerald green, white and brown, the colours of Mother Earth, really, the colours of nature. So I think that's all I want to say in this particular video. I think I might just end with a card from Metatron, my own deck. Let's just have a final card from this deck to wrap up this video, please, Metatron. And then wishing everybody well for the weekend. Let's see what's happening to the resonance now as I end this video. Let me just see if I've still got it up. Yeah. It's still the same. It's not showing any change. Still the same. What's this website that I've been looking at? AASB Media. I'll put the link below. Okay, one final card, please, Metatron, just to wrap this video up. White, yeah, he's just confirming the white ray being very, very important. And look what's on the bottom of the deck. Evolution, birthing the new. White ray, really, really important. Use your quartz, clear quartz crystals. bathe in white light. That also means being out. At the moment, the sun's out, so you can bathe in white light by being in sunlight, surrounding yourself with white light, using white crystals. We've got a white spray. Maybe I'll just end by giving you all a squirt of the white. Let's just do that. Because the thing with white light is it helps just to cleanse the aura. So it's keeping you clear as all of this new energy's coming down and everything's sort of shaking and fluctuating. Remember also what I was saying about listening to whale music. I'm going to get myself a CD of that myself. Being in touch with the animals, spending time with animals, listening to birdsong, etc. It's all very, very healing at this moment in time. Okay, I might be seeing some of you then on the 8th, Tuesday the 8th. I've got a live event over on Zoom, being hosted by a lady called Jackie White, who runs a positive living group here in the UK. And she's going to be interviewing me. It's going to be about an hour and a half. There's going to be some live questions as well. I think we've sold over 200 tickets already. The tickets are £11 each. I think there is a concession rate as well for those that are really struggling financially. You have to have a ticket to be able to watch it. It's being hosted on Zoom. I'm giving all of my proceeds to the White Feather Foundation, which is Julian Lennon's humanitarian and environmental charity. So we're raising a bit of money for charity on the 8th, 7 o'clock in the evening, UK time. So you'd need to check what that is in your own time zone. Those that pay get sent the link to the session the following day as well, so you can re-watch it. It will be released to everybody about a month later. But if you want to see it as it's happening live, and obviously the information might be changing anyway within a month, but it will be relevant for next week, then sign up. I'll put the link again in the description box below. Much love. Have a good weekend and take care of yourself. Rest up. I'm going to do that as well. Bye for now. Bye.